Всем привет, hello. Okay. So, meeting. Hello,
Hi,
hello.
hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well, and you, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. How are
Okay.
you?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thanks a lot. It's really nice to see you there, smiling.
Yes, here ready.
So that's really supportive because I should say I'm not a huge professional of live sessions. So it's my second session, I think, in my entire life.
Yes, for
So,
me too. So,
so we're going to do our best to introduce the audience to you, to AMDA, my company, to NABA, the institution that we are going to talk about today. So, and just let's have something like a friendly discussion and talk.
sure. Great,
So
great.
no pressure at all on anything. So yeah, I will introduce the topic. So we are kind of running a series of events for our Latvian students and their parents, mostly from Latvia, but I presume there might be students and parents from other countries as well, dedicated to the topic education post-COVID. So we do receive a lot of questions about how universities have changed, how the study process has changed during the pandemic, after the pandemic. I'd like to think that we are already in a kind of a post-COVID era. I
Yes,
really hope so. Yeah.
yes, we all hope so.
With the winter approaching, we all start getting a little bit worried how it's going to be during the winter. But again, this is something that is out of our control. So we are hoping for the best, a little bit preparing for the worst, but overall keeping quite positive about what education is going to bring to the students in the future. So yeah, my name is Oksana. That's for those who don't know. And I am the owner and the education consultant at AMDA Education Consultancy that is based in Riga. I've been in education abroad for 16 years. Actually, that's my 17th year already. And every day I get, new things to learn. So that's quite an exciting field. And also, as one of my former colleagues once said, he said that I love my job because my clients never get old.
That's true, that's true.
Somehow it is that you always deal with school children, with young people, with students, and this is really motivating. So maybe you can tell a little bit about yourself, and then we'll switch to the institution and the university.
Sure,
So
of course,
yeah.
it's a pleasure. So again, my name is Valentina Torricelli. I'm work at NABA. I'm based in Milan, in Italy. And I'm been working at NABA since 2017, so it's now almost 5 years, 4 years, 5 years. I started in the International Enrollment Office, the same office I'm working now. I was actually, when I started, I was supporting international partners as you for their applications and admission process for their students. And then 2 years ago, in 2019, I took over the I since 2019 I oversee the processes for Europe region. So basically, I handle all the presentations and events in Europe to explain what NABA is to students, and I support students coming from this region for their choices and for their application and admission.
So you are exactly the right person to talk to.
Yeah, hopefully, yes. And of course, before COVID, I was traveling a lot because I was visiting high schools or cities for events and fairs. Then we had to stop traveling, but hopefully we will be able to travel again soon because I'm missing that very much.
So this year I have two happy students who have started at each of your campuses, actually.
Yeah.
One student has started with the Bachelor of Graphic Design and Art Direction at the campus in Rome. And as I know, she's quite excited. So Rome is definitely one of the places to spend a few student years and be absolutely happy. And so the other student, she is in product design course, and she is in Milan. Yeah, so as I know, they're happy. They're kind of, integrating their life into the Italian style because it's very different to
yes,
what we
I guess.
in the Baltics. Yeah. So a little bit into the institution and the university. Maybe you can introduce the university. So what kind of a university it is? I know that it is part of the bigger university group, something like that. So what kind of benefits it brings to students?
Sure. Yes, we are part of Galileo Global Education, which is an education group. We are an international art and design academy. We actually are the largest private academy of Italy, which is fully recognized by the Italian Ministry of Education. This means that even if we are a private university academy, we offer and we give students fully accredited bachelor's and master's degree. We also have been ranked by QS this year. We are really, really proud of these results because we have been ranked as the best Italian art and design academy in 2021 by QS, and there are only 3 Italian institutions in the top 100 ranking for these subjects, and we are the only Italian academy appearing in this ranking. So we are also receiving, recognition of our achievement, and this is, of course, super important for us. So we offer many different programs in creative fields, let's say. So from design to fashion to graphic design and communication, visual art, media design and new technology. So we have different areas and different departments in the creative field.
Just to add a little bit, you've mentioned that you are recognized by the Italian Ministry of Education and Research. So
yes.
I just wanted to add that that's a really important factor because inside, like I know that in Italy sometimes there is this confusion and some of private universities do not really offer recognized degrees by the ministry, by the official Ministry of Education and Science here in Italy. So that's a really important point that I usually also point out to my students, especially if they are looking into further opportunities of getting master degrees somewhere, etc., etc.
Yes.
And congratulations on the ranking. I think
thank you.
That's really rewarding to get that. So as to the courses a little bit also, I know that, you offer a variety of courses and you have 2 campuses in Rome and Milan. So how do you split those courses, or are all the courses represented on both campuses?
Okay, so for the moment in Rome, we have launched only the some bachelor degree, and we don't have all the bachelors. So we have made a decision based on the subjects. So for example, for the program of design, for example, we decided to run it only in Milan because we think that Milan is the best city for students to study design because Milan is like the capital of design. We have like it's like a hub for the most important design studios. We have important events like the International Design Week. So for this reason, I'm thinking that Milan is the place where students can get the majority of opportunities. We have decided to keep this course only in this city.
Okay.
This is the kind of criteria we used. So in Rome, we opened the programs of graphic design and art direction, fashion design, media design, and visual arts. From next year, so from October 2022, we will also have the masters in these same areas. So graphics and communication, visual arts, media, and fashion.
And you also have, for quite a lot of programs, you have 2 intakes, as far as I remember.
Yes, exactly. We have for all the programs except the 1-year academic masters, but for all the bachelors and all the 2-year masters, we have an October intake that has just started, and a February intake that is going to start mid-February. So also for students that maybe couldn't take a decision for this October, they don't have to wait until next year. They can start in February.
That's also an important point. You also have summer programs, etc., but I think we'll talk about them a little bit later at the end of our conversation. So the main point, so I know personally that the campuses are running. So that was most probably a huge challenge for a creative university to go through the pandemic. It's not as easy as for maybe, you know, a regular business academy, or maybe a course in tourism and something like that. Things where you can read and, you know, talk through. So creative education presumes that you work with your hands, you get your students around, you have this creative atmosphere. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about, you know, how the pandemic was for you, but the main idea is to tell the students how it is now and what the future is going to bring. So how you actually worked out and how you started successfully this year.
Sure. Yes, definitely. Before telling you about how everything started, yes, we are now with the campus open and super happy to finally meet students again. So all the students have arrived and we are fully on campus. So yes, actually at the very beginning, so we are talking about March 2020, Italy, as you know, was like one of the first countries that was hit by COVID. So we were all quite surprised. We were worried, and the government closed up all the activities, all the schools, all the universities. So it was a shock for everybody, of course. However, we are really proud to say that we were able to switch all the activities, all the lessons, all the classes online in only 2 days. In 48 hours, everything was switched online, so students could actually didn't miss not even an hour of lessons. And it was a difficult challenge, but we succeeded. And it was just for a couple of months, because in May and June of last year, we already could open again for the practice and project-based lessons that are a super important part, of course, of the methodology. And even last October 2020, we already could begin offering students the possibility to choose between a blended modality, so arriving on campus and doing the project-based classes on campus and the theory classes, let's say, online or fully online. And last year, it was like 50-50, 50 online or 50 on campus for those who chose this modality. While this year, we could open even more. So we have we still offer the possibility to students to choose if they want to attend fully online or not. But for those who arrive on campus, that are the great majority, they can attend up to 80% of the lessons on campus. So we are keeping just a small amount of, I don't know, lectures, or maybe when we have just to give brief for a project or introduction or theory classes, we keep that part online, but all the rest is done on campus. We are so lucky to have big spaces, a big campus, so we can keep all the safety measures, and we can welcome students physically.
So how many students do you have in your class usually? What's the average number of students in class, let's say for bachelors?
So before COVID, we have always kept classes quite small, because we had classes like 25, 30 people per classroom, because we wanted to keep small groups so that they can interact with the professors and have, you know, close relationships with the faculty. We have reduced even more these groups, then according also to the lessons and to the labs they have to use, but the groups are quite small.
Okay, I presume this helps you to actually be more confident in the whole in the process, being safe for students.
Yes.
Because, you know, the less students you have on campus, you know, or interacting in one group, the safer it is, and the less the fewer surprises you get.
Yes, definitely. We don't have like a classroom with 100 people, like maybe public university have to face this kind of problem, but we always had small groups. So
yeah, that's what I've noticed during this year and last year, that quite a lot of private universities, they were more successful in handling the pandemic and in getting faster online and giving more quality of online learning to students, and they opened faster. So really a kind of, you know, I don't know whether it's bad or good, you know, but lots of private universities were more successful in terms of how they handled the whole process and what kind of quality of teaching they delivered to their students, even during the very harsh times of the pandemic last year.
Yes, of course, being a private university and also being part of a group like Galileo Global Education was crucial, because we had like more possibility also of reactions. We invested a lot in switching really quickly to online learning, and also we have to take into account that we have as part of our departments and faculty a really important department of media design and new technology. So we had people working on that, and also teachers, everybody working for that. So we invested a lot to guarantee the best experience to students, even in these difficult times.
Okay, so that's really kind of, you know, I forget English words, but it's really pleasant to hear that things like that happen. And yeah, it's really good to have someone creative and technological at the same time in the team to solve problems when they arise. So that's quite interesting also, because lots of people, at least here in Latvia, they talk about, you know, how education may have decreased in its popularity. What I notice is that it has increased, actually, the tendency to think about higher education, to go into higher education, and the motivation to do that, as I see, has increased. So what about NABA? Have your numbers of students increased, decreased? Maybe you can see that there is a tendency of certain countries to start applying to your university.
Yes, actually, and I will talk especially regarding to Europe. We have seen an increase of European students coming in, both in 2020 and 2021 as well. And I think that maybe is also due to the decision of some students to remain closer to their country, for example, or maybe students that were before looking just at US or UK for their studies, they are now discovering that Italy is also a great destination, especially for creative careers. So in terms of European students, yes, definitely. Then, of course, it depends on the region and on the country. We had different trends. Let me tell you that Italy never closed its borders to students, also last year. So we always have been open for students that wanted to reach Italy, even European or also from outside Europe holding a visa. So students that decided to maybe to defer or to stop their application or to start online and then to reach us later, it was just for maybe personal choices, not for like government decisions or Italy being closed.
Okay, so overall, the tendency is that, you know, numbers are a kind of even staying the same or even increasing.
Yes, for Europe, definitely increasing.
Yeah, that's what I also noticed, you know, during every time there is a collapse of something, you know, in Latvia, we had a few collapses during the last, let's say, 15 maybe years. And what I see, there is a tendency of and a desire to invest into education when there is, you know, things are going bad around. So it only means that education is one of the best, tools to actually invest because it's going to pay off in the future. And that's something that just stays with you for the rest of your life.
Yes.
So, talking about Italy, sometimes my students ask, like, how am I going to survive in Italy because I don't speak Italian?
No.
You know, Italians are crazy, etc. So, do you teach them Italian? Are there any classes in Italian, or are all the classes fully in English, or some of them are translated? So is there something to be worried about?
No, not at all. They will survive. They have always survived, and they are actually, they don't face any problem. So consider that, first of all our programs are run fully in English. So Italian is not mandatory to attend the program. And both Milan and Rome are really international cities. So also for example, the collaborations we give with companies, the projects we do on campus with the companies, the internships, international students always find that everybody speaks English. So this is not a problem. Students don't have to worry about that. Of course, we suggest maybe to learn a little bit of Italian while they are here, because they will be living here at least 3 years if they are attending a bachelor. So, you know, to live outside and join like the life of the city, sometimes a bit of Italian can be useful, but they will have a lot of opportunities of learning that while they are here. We don't have Italian courses, Italian language courses, but we have a partnership with some Italian language schools, so we can suggest students that want to take like language classes, some places where they can do it. But no problem.
Do Italians themselves study at NABA? So do you have, what percentage of locals are in your student body?
So we have like around 60% Italian students and 40% international, more or less. The majority of international, of course, are attending the English language and the majority of Italian language, but it's not exclusive. So we have also more and more Italians that want to study in English. So they attend the English track. And as well, we have cases of students that already speak Italian that attend the Italian track. So we try to mix. We have mixed classes.
So there is a very good chance of someone to actually pick up some Italian, just
yes,
communicating with Italian students on campus.
Sure, they are sharing the same labs, the same classes, the same facilities, and actually we have a closed campus, so it's not like many buildings around the city. We have a closed campus with all the building inside, so you are actually living together in the same campus, so you meet Italian, international, everybody.
Perfect. So I myself, I remember when I first came to Italy, I fell in love with Italy. My first visit was to Rome. And I then decided that I would go for a language course in Italian. So I came to Rome and I lived with an Italian host family. Actually, I was an adult. I was 30-something at that point of time. And I should say that even in a week's time, just by attending classes and going out, going to bars, restaurants, and communicating with my Italian host family, I picked up some Italian, not much, but it was really
like the basics to live. Yeah.
But it was really interesting that learning Italian came easy because you know English, so there are many things that are kind of have the same roots. Yeah, because Romans some time ago conquered the British Isles. Yeah, so that's not really anything to worry about.
No.
One more worry, especially for girls, is that they are going to get a little bit of weight because of pastas and pizza.
That's up to them, but I would suggest them to do it. I mean, to take advantage while they are here of the Italian food. So
yeah, so getting back to the topic of the programs and the future, I personally also see that every third or fourth student that I have for a consultation is interested in art and design, and every second or third student wants to have a career, not really in art and design, but a kind of related to creativity. So I see this trend in young students to be creative, whether fully creative or a kind of, have this creativity in how they study and when they work. So why do you think maybe creative education is becoming more popular? Or do you see this trend? Or how do you react to this trend?
yes, for sure. Actually, let's think that creative education is not just being an artist. So studying in creative careers like design, fashion, or graphic and communications means to approach a field that is really broad. So sometimes when someone thinks, okay, I'm going to an art academy, we think that, okay, I will do paintings and I will be an artist, and that's all. That's not the case, of course. We have many different projects, programs that approach different fields, and creatives don't work only for design studios, for example. We collaborate with a lot of companies that deals with totally different fields, and that ask for designers or graphics or yes, in general, let's call them designers in the extended sense, to work for their company. Let's also think about how the pandemic accelerated, I think, many processes in this sense, because from the way we buy, we do shopping, we do interaction, social interaction. So designers and creatives, I think they are the best people to find solutions to these new problems that we had to face with the pandemic, but they always had to. And so we can think about many different fields that are not strictly only art in the old sense, that are becoming more and more popular. For example, the user or the fields related to user experience or to service design. So just a simple thing that was before going to the grocery or to the supermarket to buy food, now is becoming digital, for example. So this needs designers, graphics, programmers, different professionals that need creativity to define the new things that different companies need. And well, designers have always done that because the designers are used to think out of the box, let's say, to imagine new scenarios, new tools for users. That was something that already existed also before the pandemic. So, for example, our professor always asks to our students to think about what would be the new needs and the new trends for the future for people. So going back to the COVID, I think that was an opportunity for this as well. And as I was telling you, we collaborate with many companies that are not really creative companies. For example, we collaborate with Porsche, that is a car company, but they need to do a commercial video to promote their new electric car. So they made the project with our students for that. Or they wanted to reinvent the design of the car and they collaborated with students for that. Or we collaborated with Siemens, with Whirlpool, with a very famous Italian beverage brand that is called San Benedetto for all the packaging and the brand identities. So really, many companies dealing with many different fields are asking more and more for designers. So we can go, we can, I think, forget the old idea that creativity doesn't pay, because that's not that's not the situation anymore.
Absolutely, I do agree. And also, for instance, I've noticed that lots of young girls, they are really excited about fashion and fashion industry, and because it's everywhere pretty much, and with the launch of Instagram and all the social media, it became even more popular. So it's fashion. It's not only about designing things anymore, not only about sewing, and cutting. It's about promoting, it's about styling, it's about management. And what I usually say that, for instance, when you choose a degree in fashion management, it's not only about fashion, it's also about managing things in the creative industry. And I should say, I believe you might agree that creative industries are very competitive. So you really need to be on the top of it. You really need to be very good at what you do. And if we talk about fashion industry, for instance, as I know, it's super competitive. You kind of need to be a shark in the sea. So you actually need to learn. So how to deal with things on a daily basis in those very competitive industries. And again, lots of students, at least that those students whom I communicate with, who have graduated with degrees in various fields of art and design, very often they become like freelancers.
Yes.
So again, skills like selling yourself, promoting yourself, being able to run projects. Yeah. So those skills are very in demand and needed. And as I know that things like that are implemented into the NABA's teaching style. So you don't really only teach them how to draw and how to paint. You actually teach them how to be then professionals in the field and how to land a job. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, no, totally, I totally agree. That's totally right. And actually, there are all these things that you are saying, they are all part of a NABA methodology. So of course you need a basics of also, for example, let's take the example of fashion design. You start and with the foundations of fashion design, if you want to focus on the strictly design part, you can do it. So sewing and inventing your own collection. But then we give you the possibility also to focus on other aspects of fashion, like styling and communication. So how to communicate a fashion project, how to organize a fashion event, or how to run a campaign for a fashion brand, or fashion design management. So how to link the design collection, so the project that a designer made, to the final production and delivery to the public. So there are so many professionals that are exist in the industry, that it's not only being there and sewing. Of course, that's a part that is important, because you have to know it in order to interact correctly with all the roles and all the professionals that exist within the industry. What you were saying is definitely correct. We give a lot of opportunity to students to experiment and try and understand how is the industry, and also how to make like a personal branding of yourself, to then sell yourself to the fashion companies. So you start doing this by collaborating with projects with the companies during the program. And we also have a career service office that helps students with that. So we help you in building your portfolio, your curriculum, your cover letter to present yourself to the companies. And we actually put you in contact with the companies. So we organize many events on campus, like recruiting days or lectures and like sessions where students can also meet the professionals and the industry.
Okay, so do you keep track of students? For instance, how many of them maybe stay in Italy and land a job in Italy, or do they tend to go to other countries? Do they go on to master education on the master level? So are there any kind of tendencies in what they do after they graduate?
Yes, so as a general data, consider that we have a really high job placement rate. So we can say that the 92% of our students find an internship or a job after graduation, which is a super high percentage. Then after bachelor, I don't have now the exact split of how many students are in Italy or they are going back to the country. We have both cases. So we have cases of students that want to continue with the masters, or some cases of students that want to start working. The majority of our students after graduation decide to stay in Italy to work, because Italy is where they, first of all, they started making the connections. So the companies they know during the program, also the companies they started making an internship with, the majority they are based in Italy. So sometimes they start with a project or an internship, and then after graduation, the company sometimes hires them. So the majority stays in Italy. But we also have many cases of students, especially the students that want to launch their own company or their own business or their own like startup or brand. They normally go back to their country to do that. So they take advantage of the like Italian education they had, all the training, and then they go back to their home country to run their brand. Or they work as freelancer, and this is something really, really common. So now you can work as freelancer from everywhere. So they are working both for Italian or international companies.
I have one of my students this year. I actually had a personal experience of seeing, how it happens. She's a graduate from a UK university, like she graduated a number of years ago, and she's a graphic designer for film industry.
Okay.
So that was quite interesting to see her actually work online for various companies like British companies and Irish companies, and having projects from some other, countries being ordered. So that it's hard to, I could see how hard it was for her to sometimes manage it. But this is the reality, that if your work is related to not really, if there is no need for you to be physically present, you can really perform from any part of the world. Yeah, it's only about different sometimes, but
yeah. Actually, this was something that was happening even before COVID. Now, of course, for example, let's think also about all the internships that our students have. We were surprised to see how much the companies were actually approaching us anyways, even before, during the pandemic, and now even more, to ask for our students for collaborations or internship in smart working, so on a distance base. So all the the number of internships activated thanks to this modality was super high. And this is like the modality of a freelancer that some, of course, not everybody, not all the professions can do this. For example, if you are an interior designer and you need to go and see physically the space, you need to be there. But maybe then when you have to design the project, you can do it on your laptop and you can do it from everywhere. So this was helpful not to stop also the professional experiences that our students wanted to have.
Yeah, I actually put down the word combination smart working. I really like that.
We are calling that this way in Italy, to like home working would be maybe more correct, but we are like calling it smart working, so like distance.
Okay.
Should be smart.
That's my term actually, yeah, because home working sometimes, is associated with kitchen work. So, smart working, I really like that. So we are approaching the end of our timing, little by little. And I wanted to ask you, maybe there are any things that you wanted to emphasize to those students who are now looking for their bachelor degrees, or for those who are maybe in grades 10 or 11 at the moment. So maybe there is like some special offers or maybe scholarships that they can apply for, or summer programs, which I personally believe is one of the best ways to experience the university, the future profession. And that's one of the best investments. So you kind of learn and you travel and you have fun at the same time. So
yes, thank you. Definitely summer courses. So that's something that I always suggest to students that maybe are still young. That's for students that still have a few years before starting their bachelor, so they have the time to take a couple of weeks in the summer and choose to go abroad and try. So we have summer programs in many different fields. So we have a long list of summer programs in all the areas we have. So design, fashion, graphic and communication, media design, visual arts. They are 2 weeks sessions during the summer, and you can also combine more sessions. So 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or 6 weeks. In Milan, Rome, or both cities. So you can also choose to spend 1 week in Rome and 1 week in Milan. And they are a great way to have a taste of NABA, a taste of the city, of the school, to try the methodology, to try and understand if you like that subject, or maybe you change your mind. So it's a great opportunity to start if you still have time before starting your bachelor. And we also help you in building your portfolio, for example. So that's definitely something that I recommend. While for students that are already looking at their program, at the bachelor program. So I want to highlight, first of all, the February intake that now we have starting next February. So if there are students that already graduated but was hesitant and stopped their application for this October, they don't have to wait until next October. And we also have just launched an early enrollment scholarship for October 2022. So that's another option we currently have. It's a 10% reduction on tuition fees for students that make an early decision. So that's for students that are currently in the last year of high school and will begin next October. So that's the main things that I wanted to underline right now.
Okay, good. Valentina, you personally, like, are you like yourself from Milan, or are you from another area in
No,
Italy?
from Milan. I was born and grown up here. Yes.
So you're Milanese.
Yes, doc.
Also, I wanted to ask you, I've heard on the news today that the volcano on Sicily, the Etna, has erupted, and it's like a huge eruption, as I understand. So,
Yes, the Etna sometimes erupts, but normally it doesn't do damages because the eruptions are quite slow, so we can prepare for that.
okay, but is it like far away from where you are?
Yes, that's on the in the south,
Mm-hmm.
in the south of Italy, while Milan is located in the
So
north.
it's a bit closer to Rome then, right?
Yes, but not so close anyway. It's like 6-7 hours of driving, so not so close.
And as to weather in Milan, so what's the average temperature you get in winter?
Well, warmer than the temperature you are used to, I guess. But normally it's around 4 or 5 degrees above zero in like winter, and it's going below zero during the night, but it's difficult to have below zero during the day, so quite good. We have snow maybe once a year, if that year is snowing in Milan, but at the same time we are quite close to the mountains. So if you like skiing, for example, in 1 hour away you can go skiing and find
And you're quite close to like a German border, more or less close to German border.
To Switzerland, to France, and to Austria, yes. Actually, Milan for that is a super strategic location because we are like really near the Northern Europe, but also to the south. So it's like it has a really good location also for travels. And in 1 hour.
Yeah, it's important for students sometimes to understand that the location is also one of the things that you buy together with your education. So in Milan, for instance, you can go like to Switzerland or to Germany or to Austria, not only for sightseeing and tourism, but also maybe for a kind of looking for job opportunities or participating in projects or things like that.
Yes, could be. And anyways, Europe is not so huge, so you move quite easily. We have direct flights from both Milan and Rome to all the major cities of Europe. So, but that's true. You don't only choose a subject, you choose also a destination, and that's why the city you choose is important. And that's why we think that Milan and Rome are the best cities for students studying in creative careers, because they can offer really many opportunities for that.
Yeah, just maybe to wrap up, my personal love with Rome always. I've been to Rome, I think 5 or 6 times, and every time it's a paradise for me. So I have explored it quite a lot. And last year for my birthday, I came to Milan and to Genova.
Okay.
So it was a bit of a different experience, but I loved it absolutely. So my perception of Milan is very different now and to what it was. Yeah. So I understand that it's not only about the cathedral in Milan at the moment.
No, 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 not at all, not at all. And we have so many activities and events going on all the time for fashion and for design especially, that you really, Milan is super, super active for that. Students are surrounded by activities every day if they want to.
Yeah, and for those who would like to experience like a very maybe authentic Italian life, so I think Genoa is not that far away, and then you have the Cinque Terre is there as well. So there are quite a lot of things that are very Italian the way we see them on the picture.
Yes, 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 and Italy is quite small. I mean, in 1 hour you are at the mountains, in 1 hour and a half you are at Genova or the seaside. You in 3 hours you are at the Tuscany. So with the, you know, all the Tuscany landscape. So it's really, really easy to travel and see also other things.
So thanks a lot, Valentina, for joining us tonight, for taking time after your working hours. I really appreciate that. And I hope, last time I was successful, I hope I will be successful this time and I will be able to save the session.
Okay.
Which will be shared on our social media. And yeah, once again, thanks a lot for joining.
Thanks you. It was a pleasure to have this chat.
And I really hope that Latvian students will rediscover Italy and will develop this motivation to study in Italy, because it's one of the best countries in the world, to be honest.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Looking forward to welcome them.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
and you all. Thank you. Have a nice evening. You too. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.